Hey, this is Philip, co-founder and CEO at SalesWings, and I'm excited to show you how you can collect and centralize data from any of your third-party applications into SalesWings using Zapier. In order to do so, we're going to use Zapier as well as the SalesWings custom attributes. The SalesWings custom attributes functionality allows you to create additional data points and data fields, which then will allow you to use that to process in Falcon rules, whether those are tags, segments, scores, or actions. There's a wide range of use cases you can think of. You can collect data from web forms, such as Typeform or Formstack, but you can collect data this way from your CRM as well, or any other application that is connected to Zapier. And the goal really is to generate a better data set without relying on IT. You can also forward this data then to other applications. Here we see how this is displaying in SalesWings. And therefore, it is also visible in Salesforce or other CRMs as powerful and intuitive sales insights. We're going to take a form here. We picture this is a quote request. The lead is going to enter different data points that allow us to qualify this lead very accurately using the intuitive SalesWings lead scoring engine. Furthermore, there may be data that allow us to segment the lead or route the lead, or just gain more intelligence that we want to quickly surface to the sales reps. So we have created this form using a solution called Formstack. Formstack, of course, is connected to Zapier. What we're going to do first is we're going to create a new Zap. The trigger in this situation, of course, will be the form submission. So we're going to look for Formstack. We're going to select a new submission. Going to continue. Select the account if you have many. And we then pick the form of which we want to bring the data into SalesWings. We can then test this trigger, and that should be pulling in some of the data that one of the recent leads has submitted. You can also pull in additional data points. So keep in mind when you do this the first time, you have an entirely new form. You have to at least do one submission to see some sample data. In step number 2, we're going to leverage a Zapier tool called Webhooks. Webhooks allows us to easily send this data to SalesWings. This is a custom request that we're going to select, and we then click Continue, leading us to the last screen that is required here to set everything up. We're going to post information to SalesWings, so we're going to select Post. The URL allows Zapier to know where the data needs to be sent. And at that moment, you can go to our help desk, the section Custom Attributes, and the guide How to Send Custom Attribute Data to SalesWings. Here you will also find a step-by-step guide with all the information that you need. To set up the action, you can find the data here. We've already mentioned this is a post method. Here you find the URL. This is the same for every customer. Data pass-through, we're going to leave empty. Unflatten, yes. Everything else is fine. And then we're going to go to the data. For the data, you can use our standard scripts. You can either decide to send a single event and data to SalesWings, or you can send multiple data points in one. There are different benefits of using one or the other, and we'll cover this in a separate video. In this moment, we want to bring all the data from this web form into SalesWings conveniently in a single SAP. So I'm going to copy this code and I'm going to paste the code into the field data. We're now going to customize every field where it says X. Firstly, we need to know the project. The project is your SalesWings account. You can get the SalesWings account from your settings. If you go to your tracking script, you will find the project ID there, and you can also ask our help and support colleagues that are more than happy to help you out. I'm just going to put a placeholder right here. We have the URL, and we then have the email field. In order to pass data to SalesWings, we need to have the lead's email address. So we're going to remove this, and we're going to insert the Formstack email field right into here dynamically. We then have kind and data. Every time you send us data, we log this as an activity. For instance, here, we could call this form submission. This is a event category, as we like to call it. And data, we can give it a name. So this was the quote request form. You could also add a dynamic name here if you want it. So you could, for example, add a form name or ID or something else. That's really up to you. We're going to call this quote request. Then we have standard post event. And here under values, this is where we're going to submit the form values to SalesWings. Firstly, we need to create the form fields as custom attribute fields in SalesWings. For example, we're going to collect the first name. To do this, we go to custom attributes. We're going to create a new attribute. First name. We can give it a color. Keep in mind that the colors are used to sort and organize not only the tags, but then also the custom attributes right here. So you can use this to categorize just to make the data more intuitive to read. You can then select the type. You can collect numbers, checkboxes or true or false, and text. So first name would of course be a text. If this data should be shown to the salespeople in the lead intelligence tile, you can select this here. But if you only want to use it for scoring or you want to forward it to Marketing Cloud or another destination, you can leave this unchecked. In the settings here, as mentioned, you can also choose to send this data to our main data extension. So this is in fact also a great way to collect data from forms and then send it over to the Salesforce Marketing Cloud. Once you've done this, you save. I have already prepared everything. For example, we had the location field right there. We have a field for the requirement, which is collected, etc. So the first value we're going to collect here is first name. So we're going to find the first name here. And we first need the ID. The ID, which I'm going to copy from here, is going to tell SalesWings where the data should be showing up. I'm going to add this here where it says custom attribute ID 1. Right after, where it says custom attribute value 1, this is where we put the data in. So first name, I'm going to look. So we have first name right here. And this will then dynamically put the first name into this custom attribute. And now we simply continue. We also wanted to have the last name. So we're going to use the second line, last name, and then the value, and so on. So basically for every form answer here, you're going to add a new custom attribute ID, and then the answer you're collecting. If you want to add additional values, you just copy a line, enter a new line, and you add it here. And you can then modify the lanes. For example, we had location. So we're going to add this here. And of course, don't forget to add the correct value. Make sure that if it's a numbers custom attribute, you only send numbers. Same for text and checkboxes. Text is actually a free text field, so you can pretty much send us anything. But keep a few of these things in mind. So I have already prepared how this is going to look in the end. This is how this could, for example, look. So here we have first name, project start, frequency requirement, company location, etc. And once you're done, you go next, and you can retest and review. At that moment, you can go back to SalesWings, reload the cockpit, just to be sure. And you see here, just a few seconds ago, this data was sent over, and we will find all the information right here. Now let's test this in real. Say we have here Susanna winter. It's almost winter. And we have even an opt-in question that we can collect. Going to submit the form. And if we go back to SalesWings and we reload, we will see how this is going to show up. Keep in mind you can always reach us under the chat or over the phone, and we're more than happy to help you out. We're excited to hear what you're going to do with this, and we wish you a wonderful day. Goodbye.